very delicious and nutritious prepared for us at this time, brothers and sisters, Brother Aaron next.
How y'all doing?
Fine, sir.
Hold on. How y'all doing, family?
Fine, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, who exalted the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who now sits at his right hand as his exalted Christ and Messiah. I further bear witness and continue to thank Allah for continuing to intervene in the affairs of the black man and the black woman here in the wilderness of North America and all over the planet Earth.
Yes, sir.
For bringing to us one who stands in our midst today as not a man of God, but the man of God.
That's right.
We have to understand that. When you talk about characteristics and you talk about personality, a lot of us who call ourselves African American, black, Negroes, you know, whatever we call ourselves, with this beautiful, beautiful hue, we truly do not understand who we have in our midst. For if we did,
Come on.
if we understood this one in our midst now, today,
Come on.
if we just had a better inkling of who he is, we would begin to utilize the opportunity, the mercy, the blessing that he is from Allah to us in the way and personage of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the last reminder and warner to the peoples and the nations of the earth. So it is in their three holy and divine names that I stand before you all, greeting you in the universal greetings of peace for the righteous all over the world. Assalamu alaikum. Come on, give me some love, family. Assalamu alaikum. Praise be to Allah. The brother who opened up for me, I would like to thank that brother Lawrence. I want to talk a little bit about our meeting one another, the condition that we were in, physically as well as mentally and spiritually. But before I do that, I would like to thank Allah in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad. I would like to thank the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I would like to thank from the bottom and the depths of my heart the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for all of his diligent work and sacrifice, his tireless effort to put us, the condition of our people, in the hope that we have on his back and carry us safely through these troubled waters that we find ourselves in today. I would like to thank the Western Regional Student Minister, Brother Tony Muhammad, very, very diligent, hard-working brother who is now touring, talking about the vax demonstration. I would like to thank our illustrious, hard-working, hard-hitting Western Regional Captain, Captain Halim, a brother who has taken me under his wing every time that he sees me and has guided me. I would like to thank the study group 51, and our student coordinator, Brother Afsar Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please give that brother a hand. You know, again, as I talk about, you know, our being remiss and not really understanding who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is, sometimes we're like that with one another. I have the opportunity to have been really blessed to be under the tutelage and the guidance and leadership of Brother Afsar Muhammad. I also have the beautiful opportunity to see this brother and his characteristics and his personality outside the mosque. A lot of us, we don't really know each other personally. We don't take the time to get to know one another in our personal capacities. But when I tell you that this brother takes his work ethic everywhere he goes, he takes his character everywhere he goes. Where he works now, whenever a black person comes in that door, He's aspiring to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's aspiring and challenging them to do better and be better in his small, subtle ways, and that impresses me. I'm inspired by it. I would like to begin to pattern my life to do the same thing. So I would like to thank Brother Herman Muhammad, who the FOI here is under the tutelage of. Give that brother a hand. Brother been standing for the better part of a quarter century, representing these teachings here in this dislocated state, which actually sits in the central system or the heart of this country, diligently standing on the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and representing his supreme servant, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I would like to thank all of these brothers. I would like to thank the Executive Council for allowing me to stand before you today, and hopefully, by God's will and grace, just give you a little bit of inspiration, give you a little bit of good word that actually would not come from me. Whenever I am blessed to stand before you all, I simply become a vessel, and I beg Allah for his mercy. I beg him for his passionate compassion. I beg him for his guidance to allow me to set myself aside and become a vessel for him to give you whatever it is he desires to give you, using me only as a conduit. Only as a conduit, family. So again, I thank everyone for always having this opportunity to stand before you. I want to talk about today why we follow Farrakhan. But before I do that, I want to say Ramadan Mubarak. Praise be to Allah. I hope your fast is going well. And I will say this about our holy month of Ramadan. If you are not struggling, if you are not experiencing a little bit of discomfort and pain, if you are not tired, you know, if you don't have them hunger pains beating you down in the bottom of your belly, if you are not out here in this heat, this dry atmosphere and climate, you know, and you're parched, you start losing your voice, then you know you got to go back and rethink your Ramadan, because that's what this Ramadan is all about. It's about restraint. It's about abstinence, because it is through, as Brother Student Minister, Brother Gerald talked about, the agitation, you know, the adversity of oneself that God forges the best out of us. So we have to understand that's really what Ramadan is about, and not to be utilized only for 30 days or 1 year. It's a springboard that we, inshallah, God willing, should be striving to use to turn the rest of our life into, the rest of the year. It should be Ramadan next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. So it's a striving, brothers and sisters. Just keep that in mind, okay? You should be struggling, okay? I would like to just touch a little bit briefly on my the interaction and the time I had with Brother Lawrence. A beautiful, beautiful brother, and brothers being modest. He said we had a cordial relationship. That's from my perspective, is not how I would describe it. That brother came in a sea of filth, in a sea of indecency, in a sea of amorality, in a sea of an environment where wrong was made to seem right, and right was made to seem wrong. And one thing that I always remember about Brother Lawrence, you know, just if you ever had any experience around the believers, you know, there's a certain cut, there's a certain chop. After a while, you rolling with the minister, you've been rolling with Elijah, you start getting a certain chop on you. A certain cut, you can tell, you know, your walk starts being upright. You know what I mean? Your talk starts becoming more articulate. You know, you start moving in a more bold fashion. See? But you still have humility. You still are kind and considerate. You still are mannerable. You still have a healthy respect for the laws of the land, as long as it doesn't conflict with your faith, with your religion. See? And so, Brother Lawrence, one of my greatest or most fond memories of him, we would be in the chow hall, and brother would be teaching, he would be spitting. He would be like, brother, you know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and, you know, I'm sitting there listening attentively. Now, we in the chow hall, right? Meanwhile, while brother is giving me this dissertation, he's wrapping food up, stuffing it in his, putting it in his pocket, putting it in his, underneath his shirt, in his socks. And I'm like, listen, like, yeah, brother, the food that you're giving me, the spiritual food is great, but what are you doing with this food right here, brother? But when I understood, the brother said, brother, well, you know, in the Nation of Islam, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to eat 1 meal a day. And that is the type of character and the spirit that that brother imbued me with. To come into an environment where, you know, as I said, is rife with strict laws, strict rules, and strict punishment for abrogating those rules. Brother was willing to sacrifice and possibly get in trouble so he could follow and obey the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So after a few months, I started doing the same thing. Yeah, brother, let's do that. Yeah, I agree, brother. You know what I mean? So that's one of my fondest memories of Brother Lawrence Muhammad. And you know, the brother just, you know, there were a few of us, you know, and I was like kind of the elder of some of the youngsters that you know, had an affinity for the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir. And you know, we were trying to gather and unite, and you know, they were looking to me for some type of guidance. So I knew, you know, and brother would always tell me this, brother, you have to be the beacon of character, you know, for the many that are watching you. And you really don't have the luxury to get tired or, you know, to get slack in your conduct and your behavior. You know, not only do they have to see you obeying as much as you can, striving to obey the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, but they have to see you obeying and striving to be in accordance with the law of the land, as it were, because it's our conduct. So the brother helped me begin to get respect, notoriety, recognition among the staff, among the administration, among the warden, because he taught me, educate yourself, brother. And he taught me how to fight a proper fight. You know, I don't have to go after every fight, and every fight isn't physical. But what ultimately began to happen as instruction from the brother, as it started to soak in and sink in, the warden would come to me, hey, Mr. Coleman, we have some issues. You want to know, can you go talk to these people? Can you go? And you know, when I had informed the brother that, he said, brother, you take that as a compliment. They recognize some form of semblance of character in you. That's right. And this is the character that he's talking about, that we begin to take on when we follow the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and his supreme student and servant, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yes, so I thank that brother. I thank Allah for that brother, because he had a cut, he had a walk that reminded me of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He had a soft-spoken word, but had power and energy in it that helped me reform some of my thought patterns that eventually began to take place and take shape in my behaviors. And I was able to help feed others that. So for that, I am forever grateful, and being able to see the brother after being released in this capacity, striving to become servants and do the work of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is truly a blessing. So thank you, brother. Please give that brother a hand. This brother is a pioneer who deserves to be recognized every time we see him. We thank you, brother, for your many sacrifices in and out of the belly of the beast. So I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. It's interesting that the last time I spoke was Mother's Day. So, you know, Allah must be working. You know, the good book says, honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long. So, you know, I stand before you confessing that I do not, at this juncture, have the best relationship with my father, if any relationship at all. Like many of us, young black men and young black women growing up without the father, or without the actual presence of the father. Some fathers maybe were physically in the home, but they weren't there spiritually. They weren't there morally. How much promise she has. That's reinforcing what's already within her when she has to go out into this cruel world and face self-doubt by, you know, the many different facets that stab at the young black girl, see? So it's very important that the father stands up and does what he's supposed to do as the head of the household, really sitting in the seat as the deputy, because God is the true Father. So I wanted to just touch on that briefly on this day that you know the European has set aside. Again, we know that he's a commercializing, colonializing, conquering, mischief maker. Right. You know, we understand that as taught to us by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and as shown to us by the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But when you talk about Father, God is the Father.
Right.
So it's befitting that, you know, I stand here before you today on this day that the enemy regards as Father's Day, which for him is just another means to siphon money out of the pockets of the poor, the disenfranchised,
right.
the impoverished, and the foolish.
Right.
But, you know, when we talk about Father and really what that means, I looked up a couple of definitions and I wanted to touch on that briefly. It's not my topic, but by God's will and grace, I intend to tie it in so it makes a little bit of sense. So when I looked up the word Father, how do you say that, Brother Hearn? The etymology definition of it is Old English father. He who begets child nearest in a male ancestor, any lineal male ancestor. The supreme being, and by late Old English, one who exercises parental care over another. Then I thought about, you know, father. So a father's, his job actually, once he is sitting at the head or the seat in God's position by his permission of the family, his job is to further forward and further upward. And he does this by protecting. He does this by providing. He does this by educating. See? He does this by establishing some semblance of stability. Because that's what God represents, right? God changes every night. His laws are the same. Even though he's the ultimate representation of evolution, but that's one of his universal laws. It will never change that God will continue to evolve and grow into a greater, bigger manifestation of infinite understanding, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. See? So, as black men, we have to understand the significance of that role. You know, at this time, I definitely want to take a little time out to give Brother Everett a hand, please. This brother has done something that you know, when you start talking about taking on your offspring, your seed as a single father, that's a great deal. It's one thing to sit at the head of the household as a father and you have your helpmate who's the second self to God, your woman, your queen, your black woman with you. But when you have to take on that responsibility of your own being a father, that's something wholly entirely different. And so, you know, I don't want to minimize or underscore the significance of this move, because I had the opportunity to talk with the brother. I've had the opportunity to experience some of brother's pain from not being able to be as involved in his son's lives as he would have liked to have been at that time. But to see him now and his sons is a beautiful thing, brother. So we thank you, brother. We thank you for that example. Brother Rico as well, you know, who's soon to be a father, brother. Please, let us know whatever we can do to support you, brother, because we take this here in the Nation of Islam, we take that post seriously, brother. So we talk about being a furtherer. And further means to impel, urge on, to advance, or to promote, or benefit. After further, farther split, this sense also continue in the shadow verb farther. So now you have father, then you have further, and then you have farther, F-A-R-T-H-E-R, see? So the father's job is to further the subjects, the family, the seed, the offspring, the wife, the community, humanity. As a result of the father standing on his post and engaging in the activity of furthering, then you see progress farther. See, family? So we want to never underscore, and I know majority of us, you cannot underscore, give the black woman a hand, you cannot underscore the job that the black woman, whether it is in the form of your grandmother, or your auntie, or your mother, or your big sister, or your baby sister, in some form or fashion, that has taken on the load and carried the burden of the multitude and many of black men who have abandoned their post. In the Nation of Islam, we're not allowed to quit our post only until properly relieved. See, black men, you have not been relieved of your post. See, that's a lifelong post. Because even if you don't currently at this time have children, as I do not, I have nieces and nephews. See, I have neighbors, I have little children in the community. At some point in time, I want to see these children in the community grow up and do something and be something greater beyond what maybe they right now have the understanding that they could be. I definitely would love to make sure that I can have some kind of influence to encourage them to go a different path from what I went. See? So whatever type of influence I can have in taking on that post is significant. So we just have to keep that in mind. So as we go from father to further to farther, I looked up follow. Middle English, to accompany especially as a disciple, move in the same directions. Follow after pursue, move behind in the same direction as obey. A rule or law, conform to, act in accordance with. This is one of my favorite ones. Apply oneself to. So when the black man and the black woman takes a look at his condition, and it's an honest look at his condition, where he and she currently exists right now, and we may not be experiencing some of the successes that we like to experience, or we may be going through some pains and some discomforts that we can't, that seems to be an enigma, something we can't really identify how to get out of, a conundrum of sorts. I like to refer back to the, quote, a wise man, you ain't applying yourself, Smokey. See, when we say we follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and how long have we been following him? Come on. And if we've been following him for any amount of time, well, we know mathematics is Islam, Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam, which can be proven in no time at all, right? Yes, so how is it that we are following the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and we still find ourselves jobless, homeless,
yes, sir. Come on,
moneyless,
yes, sir. Come on,
carless,
yes, come on,
friendless?
Yes, sir.
Well, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said he's going to create for us friendships in all walks of life.
Yes, sir.
So I want to take a few words from these two great and glorious men, because Brother Herm last week touched on the same topic, and brother gave such a beautiful testimony. When he talked about what he had to endure, what he underwent with the car accident. Like, it was powerful. If any of you were in the room and you heard brother's testimony, and he linked that up to why and how it is he's able to, after 25 years, so diligently and with fervent passion, continue to follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, don't understand. You weren't listening. You weren't paying attention. I don't know where you were at. Brother said he was thrown through the windshield. All his clothes were ripped off. Now, this is what was interesting to me about him confessing or giving his testimony, and some of the parts that I thought were like, wow. So brother said he had fallen asleep, he had overcompensated, and he woke up and he knew it was going all bad, and he dozed back off again. Next time he woke up, he was airborne and kind of tumbling, and the only thing he could say is, I'm in trouble. That's all you can say at that time, Allahu Akbar. You have to give it up to God, because what that is a representation of is that you are no longer in control, man. See? So now at this time, you start talking about judgment, and this is is a time where you're meeting God face to face, right? And the only thing that you can do is hope that some work, some sacrifice, some giving up of yourself to help God's man was recognized by Allah himself. So he can have mercy and favor on you in this great time of trouble. I too have my own testimony that I intend to share with you all at the end of this lecture, God willing, so you can put into a little better perspective of what fuels me, what has driven me in just not even 5 short years that I've been released from incarceration. But brother gave a powerful testimony in why he follows the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So here's one of the main reasons we follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Because according to our father, the Messiah, before his physical departure, he said of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, wherever you see him, look at him. When you hear him, listen to him. He said, wherever he says go to, you go to. Wherever he says stay from, you stay from. See? And that's not just talking about physically. He's not just talking about when you see a minister, I see. No, he's not talking about that. Remember what I said, family? We have to give ourselves a little bit more time. We have to have a little bit more patience with these teachings. As Allah has blessed me to be released and come out here and begin to dig and pal and ponder and mine and meal into the nectar of what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought to us. It's interesting. I was 19 years old when I first heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad from an associate right out of Message to the Black Man. And I was driving right up Colfax. He was sitting in the passenger seat. I was dropping him off to work. I used to go out with his sister. And he's just telling me these words, stuff that I've never heard before. I'm 19 now. Wig is being blown back. But I really don't understand and know what it is he's saying. I just hear black and God and I as a man and we are righteous by nature. And I'm just like, well, wait, brother. You know, but what happened was I was introduced to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I had never heard of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan before, per se. I had heard about, but never really, I didn't know him. And so one of my friends who was supposed to be here today, actually, one of my childhood friends, we were about, probably about 18 or 19. And you know, at that time, the African medallions were the thing. You know, they're doing the beads now today, but we were doing the African medallions. You know, we never been to Africa. You understand what I'm saying? And the minister in his wisdom was asked in an interview during that time, what do you think about the youth and their fascination with African culture and the wearing of the African medallions and the garb and whatnot. And you know, the minister being who he is, he said, well, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, it's a beautiful thing, really, you know, because it does connect us back to the motherland, it does connect us back to our heritage, but he said, I fear that they really don't have an understanding of the great significance of it in the hour that they're in, as they, you know, imbue themselves with these trinkets, with these ornaments.
Yes, sir.
So my friend was saying, well, man, I think that was critical. He didn't have to say that. He didn't have to. And you know, that was the first time I had heard of Farrakhan. Right. And then I heard Public Enemy, and then I heard of Farrakhan again. And well, you know, I'm a hip hop guy. Ever since I was 7, I wanted to do music in one way, some form, shape, or fashion. The moment I heard hip hop, the hip, you know, I was gone. That's my first. I love my wife. That's my first love. That was my first love at that time. Hip hop had me hooked. So everywhere hip hop went, I went. So then I heard about Rakim and the 5% Nations of God's Earth. Come on. You know, he started using terminology like knowledge is born. And, you know what I mean? Allah is God and all that. I was like, what? I didn't know what it meant, but man, that brother was smooth. He could spit. So, you know, I continued to follow.
Yes,
so
sir.
I say these things because I want to bring into full picture how it is that I came or stumbled upon Islam and ultimately what happened. I was introduced to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in turn introduced me to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who in turn helped me be reintroduced to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad so I can see him clearly.
Come on.
See? I didn't know who the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was. I didn't understand. Man, the first time I picked up this book, like you know, I was an avid reader, honor roll, that type of stuff, but I had never experienced such a multitude or vast array of emotions at one time. I was angry. I was sad.
Come on.
I was excited. What? We the original man? What? Oh man, the devil is like this. The white man is the devil. What? So it began to, you know, kind of hit me like a lightning bolt, really. And ultimately, what happened? I had one foot in the grave, and you know, I started trying to articulate and you know, parrot what I was reading out of the Message to the Black Man, but in the same hand, you know, I was getting high, smoking weed, drinking, and I had a sack pissing on me.
Come on.
I was Malcolm X Thug, or you know, whatever, you know what I mean? That was my get down at that time. And I would say, you know, before I go any further, whoever is considering delving into the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and committing to this work, who, once you do, your sole purpose will be to deliver the 17 million or so dead to the Lamb of God, please, family, do not play with it. This is nothing to play with. I have to tell you that. See, it would be better, and it says this in the Bible, it would be better to not pick up your garden tool, not pick up your rake, your hoe at all, than to pick it up and then put it back down. I'm speaking from experience. Brother talked about last week the prophet Jonah. In a small semblance, yeah, I was swallowed by the belly of the beast.
Come on.
I was never. Listen, let me explain to you with me and how the gangbang in Colorado hit me. So my friends and I, we wanted to be rappers, man. We was not into all this starter jackets. We was turning them inside out because we didn't want to be associated. See? But ultimately, I come from a background, you know, my father was a pimp, you know, he was a hustler. He did 2 years in prison, and you know, I wanted to break that cycle, but you know, I didn't stick with it, you know what I mean? And once I got an allurement of the streets, you know, I allowed myself to be sucked in, really is what happened. For me, ultimately, it was the hustling aspect. You know, ever since a child, I always had a paper route. I was going to borrow somebody's lawnmower to make some money mowing some grass. I was stealing somebody's shovel out their backyard to go shovel some snow and get some money. Like, I had a hustler spirit at a young age. See, and then ultimately, by the time I was 13 or 14, I went downtown. My mother signed off for me. She's supposed to be here too, God willing, and allowed me to get emancipated so I could go get a job. Because I did not like the ideal of having to go ask somebody else, hey man, can I have it? And people were running around, I see them having stuff, and I always felt like, man, I can have that too.
Right.
But before I learned how to get it, you know, I was a little thief, you know, I was stealing bikes, having a little bike that ring, you know, I was stealing bubble gums,
Having that money.
See? So I always had a penchant for commerce, I would like to say. One of the things that also attracted me to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, do for self, family. So we're talking about why we follow Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
So we want to make sure that we begin to see this man properly with our third eye, family. And that's going to take some time. It's going to take some time because you can't keep up with this man.
Come on.
I'm just going to mention a few of his works. Restrictive Laws, the Green Book, Self-Improvement, Basis for Community Development, The Time and What Must Be Done, a 58-part lecture series.
Right.
You talking about once a week, and then brother kind of got under the weather. The minister kind of got under the weather, and he took, I think, a week or 2 weeks off, and came back and hit us with 6 more to add on to what was actually only supposed to be 52. We can't keep up with this man. 83 years young. So we have to pace ourselves, family, so we can really understand. And I want to just bring into a clear focus today, by God's will, who he he actually is, as raised by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And by seeing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, automatically, simultaneously, you begin to become acquainted with his father, our father, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Come on, come on, come on.
See?
Come on.
So, what the Muslims believe, point 12, I have to talk about this. I have to, because in a lot of regards, it's the foundation of our belief. On every page, the back page of the Final Call newspaper, you all by now should be well acquainted with this minister that we refer to as the Final Call newspaper.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Point number 12, what the Muslims believe. We believe that Allah, God, appeared in the person of Master W. Farrakhan Muhammad, July 1930, the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians and the Mahdi of the Muslims. We believe further and lastly that Allah is God, and besides him, there is no God. And he will bring about a universal government of peace wherein we all can live in peace together. Now, my first few lectures I did part one and part two. Then before this lecture, the topic was how to build a nation. So, you know, point number 12, it talks about how God is going to bring about a universal government of peace. So I want us to kind of understand, and hopefully I'll be able to touch on that, what it is to have an actual established structure of government to govern the people. We don't know what that looks like because for since our existence and beyond, we've been looking at the enemy's model. Well, all you got to do is turn on Fox News or CNN and see what that's coming to. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that a house divided against itself cannot stand. He said to pay attention to Donald Trump because he's a conduit that God is using. He said actually he's God's man. God has chosen him to go in and disrupt and begin to start the very physical, visible, clear destruction of the enemy's world and establishment. See? And if you don't think that he's doing just that, what president do you know before him that was tweeting? I mean, we didn't have tweet, but man, this dude done took it to a whole nother level. What president do you know before him regarded the media as fake news? What president do you know before him has signed as many executive orders as he has signed in the short time that he's been in office? You have to pay attention to what he's doing. And look, on some regards, he comes off as a bumbling idiot. But what we have to do, what we have to look at on the undercurrent is you're talking about a man who was a billionaire, lost it all, and then rebuilt it back again to more than what he had before. You can't be a dummy, a bumbling idiot and do that. See? And this is something that majority of the masses, including his constituents, aren't taking into consideration. This man is coming in to disrupt some stuff, family. And you are the target. Whether you want to accept it or not, whether you believe it or not, the black man and black woman right here in America is the primary #1 target, public enemy #1. You are who they are after. See, they're doing it in a roundabout way by attacking Islam and everything Islam is terrorist associated. ISIS, Hezbollah, all of these different terms. But then one of their own, white men come right up through the fence, through the backstop. You know, he got mental issues and, you know, maybe it was a bad day at the job and you understand what I'm saying? So I want you to understand the significance of what's going on and that you are the target. So I want to prove a few things to you in regards to that point number 12. So we have a class on Monday called the Men's Training Class, Fruit of Islam. And we have a couple of general orders. You know, we have some actual facts. We have a platform, a protocol, and a curriculum that we go by because you have to understand this, black man and black woman, you, number one, are not just any people.
Come on now.
You're not just any people. I tell you this every time I am blessed and allowed to stand before you. You are made with a specific type of material that God intends to use and is using for a specific purpose. So you are not going to be able to accept any old curriculum, any old type of platform to bring you out of the 400 some odd year conundrum of a condition that you find yourself in. Because you suffer from a specific sickness, you must have a specific cure. You must. Christianity's not going to do it.
T. Come on.
The NAACP is not going to do it. The Christian church not going to do it. Listen, I applaud and support the efforts of Black Lives Matter. Some of these other movements, the new Black Panther Party, not gonna do it. When I tell you the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has the only solution to your problem, and not only your problem, to the human problem. See, black man and woman, that's how specific and special you are. You're not just dealing with a problem for the black man and the black woman. Because the black man and the black woman currently exist in the condition that they have been in for over 400 some odd years, the whole entire human family is in disarray. Because a foreigner, an alien, has come among us and been allowed to disrupt the structure of universal order.
Yes, sir, that's right.
See? So you're not going to be able to walk into an optometrist with a skin disease talking about give me a cure. It ain't going to happen. You got an eye problem, you got a skin disease, you got a heart problem, you suffering from a serious ailment, black man and black woman, and until it's addressed and addressed properly, man, human family is going to hell in a handbasket.
Yes, sir.
Understand how important you are. So, we believe that God appeared in the person of a man, and no one exemplifies this at this time better than or more than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's why we follow him.
Yes, sir.
See, if you understood the work that he was able to do and has been doing, it would make more sense to you.
Yes, sir.
But you don't understand because you don't know the man.
Yes, sir.
So, when we go into the book of Habakkuk, and I'm going to be brief, family. I don't want to take up all your time. I know it's Father's Day. I know you all want to spend some time with your family. I want you to have an opportunity to do that. But I have to get these things off of my chest. It's imperative. And y'all, please bear with me. Please be patient with me. So, again, in the Nation of Islam, we have a curriculum that we live by, that we strive to live by. So in Habakkuk 3, chapter 3, verse 3, and in verse 6, it's talking about God. When you start talking about God as a man, well, you know, in the Bible, it's always, in referring to God, it always uses the pronoun he. See? Just think about that. Always uses the pronoun he. Now, how can we say God is other than a man, but still we want to call him a father, and the only father I've ever known has been a man?
Yes, sir. Come on.
See? When we've been taught wrong, we've been fed the wrong foods, family.
Yes, sir.
So in Habakkuk 3, it said God came from T-Man. Wait, hold on. If God is a spirit, how can he come somewhere? How does he go to a... That's a physical act. That's an action.
Yes, sir.
Spirits don't do... You can't even see spirits. How can you even define what a spirit does? See? We have to break up these foolish concepts that we've been given by the enemy that has us acting the way we're acting, other than ourselves. So as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches. He said God came from T-Man. And the Holy One came from Mount Paran. Wait now, that's two different people. One is God, it's capitalized. God, the Father God. The other one is a holy one, or the holy one. Those are two different people, family. Okay. Then it says, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. When we go down to 6, here's where I really want to prove something to you. He stood and measured the earth. How the fruit feel?
Fine, sir.
How the fruit feel?
Fine, sir.
Fruit.
Yes, sir.
What is the total mileage of the planet Earth? Just help me out.
96 days, 140,000 square miles.
Okay. I didn't ask the question verbatim, so I respect that.
Thank you, sir.
196,940,000 square miles. How much is the land?
255,000 square miles, sir.
How much is the water?
The water is 139,685,000 square miles, sir.
Who do you know has given an exact measurement of the planet Earth, the water, and the land? Who do you know other than Master Farrakhan Muhammad? Who do you know? T.D. Jakes didn't do it. Barack Obama didn't do it. I love Martin Luther King, but brother did not do it. See? So we got to understand this book, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, if not properly understood, it can be like a snake that snares. We know what serpents and snakes do, right? Yeah, it can get us caught up. So is it a wonder why we are acting the way we're acting? And some of us have the audacity to say, oh, I believe in God. Man, I follow Jesus. I follow Muhammad. My wife had asked me, I have a relative who you know, he's a Muslim, and he was introduced also through the bowels of the Nation of Islam, but you know, somewhere down the line he started practicing Sunniism. So, you know, now you're talking about, and I don't want to put my relative on blast, I love him to death, he has a beautiful spirit. Smokes, drinking, fornicating, alhamdulillah, yeah, that's good, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother Muhammad didn't.
Yes, sir.
Prophet Muhammad didn't smoke, brother. He didn't fornicate, brother.
That's right.
What sunnah are you following?
Right.
Jesus wasn't in the clubs all at night, you know, loose women. Jesus wasn't eating pork.
That's right.
Jesus wasn't drinking and smoking the, you know what I mean, the new, what is it, the purple kush now? What Jesus are we following? See? So when we say we follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we can tell you and show you why we follow him. See? We're not even going to get into the fact of drinking and smoking, and that's beneath him. That's nothing to even consider. When you start talking about a man of character, you're talking about a man who at one point in time, when he was in Africa, had a bag in cash brought to him of $1 million. He said, take it back. He can't be bought. This is not just a black leader. See? This is not just an evangelical preacher.
That's right.
See? We have to understand this is the man of God in this time of trouble. There is no other solution for us other than the solution he has, and I'm going to prove it to you.
Go ahead,
By God's will and grace, I intend to prove it to you. So because the man that we follow is guided by the Honorable Minister, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and as I told you, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was introduced to him, then he in turn directed me towards his supreme servant, who in turn turned me back and helped me begin to see just who this man, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is. And then that's how I started getting acquainted with God, the God within, the power, the ability. So, fruit.
Yes, sir.
Who's the original man?
Sir, the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe, sir.
Yes, sir. What does cream do? He rises. See? The original man is the maker, the owner. This is your planet, family. Why are you in the... Well, we have to have a teacher. And the book says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. How can they know lest they have a teacher? And how can they have a teacher lest he be what?
Sand.
Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was raised up from among us out of the mud and asked Allah, prayed to Allah, bring me some help. So Brother Herman talked about last week how you can find the characteristics and the fulfillment actually of many of the prophets in the Bible in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Well, I agree. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad is sometimes referred to as a Moses.
Come on.
And Moses had who as his helper?
Aaron.
Why did Moses ask for Aaron as his helper? Because Moses felt that he wasn't articulate enough in speech. Most honorable Elijah Muhammad only had a 4th grade education, family. That's a miracle within of itself. This is a book authored by him, one of many.
Right.
By a man with a 4th grade education. If you ever get this book and you read it from cover to cover, this ain't no 4th grade education information, family.
Right. That's right.
I'm trying to tell you now what it has the power to do. So he asked Allah to bring him a helper because he did not feel that his speech was eloquent enough to arouse the people to action and help bring them out of the bondage of Pharaoh. So Aaron, who was more articulate, God gave him to Moses. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has college education, not a degree, but college education. And we know he's very charismatic, very eloquent in his speech. It's interesting if you ever have the beautiful blessing and opportunity to hear some of the speeches of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it's not a farce. Brother's English was broken, but boy, the power in them words. Right. Man, you talking about a man that stood 5'4" but was a giant.
That's right.
Not only was he a giant and is a giant, he's a giant maker. He made Muhammad Ali. He made Malcolm X. Naeem Akbar. See, some of these people that we don't even know have been influenced, heavily influenced. He made Brother Jeff. Y'all better understand this. Giant maker. So I have no intentions of going outside of the source to get something that I say that I want, that the source provides, when I have proof that the source is all I need. And that's not to take anything from anyone who has stolen a little bit from the teaching. You know, it's a great teaching. Hey, it works for whoever wants to use it and apply it. But we who follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan understand we want a supreme knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. In order to have that supreme knowledge and wisdom and understanding, that's going to take supreme submission, family. You can't be partial in this and think that you're going to get everything that the most honorable Elijah. I'm going to tell you what he offers. You know, this is my favorite part. I do this every time, family. When you open up to the dedication, that's right, unity. To my people, he says, the so-called American Negro, freedom, justice, equality, happiness, peace of mind, contentment, money, listen to this, good jobs, not good job, good jobs, that's plural, decent homes, all these can be yours if, that's a qualifier, right, brother? That's right. If you accept your God, Allah, when? Now. And return to his and your original religion, Islam. That's why we follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I want to tell you how it's worked for me. Just 4.5 short years, we run it up on 5. after being locked up for 20 years for a crime that I was accused of and didn't necessarily commit. Allah has blessed me to become married. And I say that first because that's been the most important thing in my life. Without a strong black woman, black man, you are going nowhere. You'll be running in place. I know a lot of us think we got swag, and the black man does. He has a natural swag. Listen. But without that black woman, man, you are incomplete. And you don't want just any black woman. Go study what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us about the black woman that has fueled what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does in elevating the black woman, that has further fueled people like Brother Nuri Muhammad, who talks about the science of mating, who talks about before I say I do.
Yes, sir.
See, family, what we've been doing is we've been going off of our own foolish, limited understanding. And that's one of the reasons why we find ourselves in the condition that we find ourselves in. We think we know, but a fool is one who knows everything but his own ignorance. See? A wise man is one who knows that he knows not.
Go ahead. Say that.
See?
Say
Gotta be
that.
humble. First thing we have to do, black man and woman, humble ourselves. Open ourselves up to an information, to a knowledge that's greater than the one that we possess. How do you know? Well, if the knowledge that you had was a supreme knowledge, you wouldn't be in the condition you in.
That's right.
Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. It can be proven in no time at all. I don't have to, when I say what I say and I see a person and I'm assessing something, and they say, well, you can't judge me. I'm not trying to judge you. Don't get judging and warning confused. See? I'm warning you that if you persist with your continued behavior, there's a comeuppance, there's consequence. It's a universal law that is even written in the good book. It says, so is a man soweth, so shall he reap.
That's right.
See? So we want money trees, but we too busy planting dummy seeds. How you gonna do that? So, I wanted to talk about Bilal. During this time of Ramadan, the holiest month of fast for those who believe all over the planet, it's very important that we also do our due diligence and strive and go back and get a history of universal Islam, worldwide Islam, how it has affected and impacted the entire world. You know, right now, the black man and the black woman in the Nation of Islam is under attack because it's a new understanding, it's a new knowledge. Well, the Quran teaches that Allah is going to renew his religion. He taught us that Islam will be renewed. The Nation of Islam, the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, is that renewal. But, you know, a man cannot know his future unless he go back and get a better understanding of his past, right? His history.
Right.
Your story, not his story, your story. You need to go get your story, family. So, Bilal, he was the caller of the Adhan for the Prophet Abdullah Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. Bilal was an Ethiopian who was originally from Habasa, born in 680 CE in Mecca to the parents Rabah and Hamama. Bilal was a slave to a lady close to an enemy of Islam of the Prophet, Abdullah ibn Muhammad. May Allah's blessings be upon him. Umayyah ibn Khalif was the enemy. This enemy, Umayyah ibn Khalif, tortured Bilal after discovering Bilal had accepted and started practicing Islam. Now the Prophet had found out, and this is where Bilal became so in love with Islam and so in love with the Prophet. When the Prophet Muhammad had found out the torture that Bilal had been going through as a slave, it's one thing to be an indentured servant and taken into the possession by someone else to do their bidding. It's a whole other thing to experience torture and treatment just because another human being devalues you and believes that you're less than. So when the Prophet Muhammad found out that this enemy of his was torturing Bilal, he sent one of his companions, Abu Bakr, after Bilal and put the money in his pocket and had Abu Bakr pay for Bilal's freedom. And once Bilal got his freedom, he ran to Islam. He ran to the Prophet. And he has such a beautiful voice that the Prophet appointed him to be the caller of the Adhan. The Adhan is the call to prayer for Muslims all around the world.
Come on.
It's the call that we give whenever it's time to pray, to let everybody know we're about to engage in a time of remembrance of God.
Right.
It's something that we do 5 times a day, every day, or we should be striving to do.
Right.
So, this is how important Bilal was to the Prophet Muhammad, and in fact, how important he was to God. Now remember, he was an Ethiopian. That was his nationality. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said to Bilal, he said, "Oh Bilal, what special deeds you have done that I heard sounds of your walking steps ahead of me in paradise." Yeah, I want you to think about that. I'm going to read it again.
Come on. Come
Some
on.
of you kind of, gave me that look deer and stuck in the headlights. He said, "Oh Bilal, what special deeds you have done that I heard sounds of your walking steps ahead of me in paradise." Now, I'm going to give you another quote, and then I'm going to give you my interpretation or understanding of what is being said here by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. This is a book by Allama Sir Abdullah al-Mamun al-Surari, and it's called The Sayings of Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
So it's regarded as a hadith of sorts, and there are many hadiths. The 40th hadith are some of the more accurate or most accurate hadiths, but there are many hadiths. When you're studying the hadiths, and the hadith simply means the sayings and the actions of the Prophet. They're books, they're compiled testimonies of the Prophet's many companions of things they witnessed him do. They witnessed his character, his behavior, and certain words and things that he said to them in certain situations. So this is significant because when we say we're following someone, this is how they followed the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And if we say we follow the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, then it will be wise for us to go study the hadith. Now, before I read this, I want to in the Nation of Islam, this is our hadith. This is how we follow the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. See? In the Nation of Islam, this is our hadith. This is how we follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. See? So on page 71 of this book, Prophet Muhammad was recorded as saying, and this is in reference to him speaking to Bilal, and him talking about something of the future of what God had inspired him to witness. He said, "I admonish you to fear God." He was talking to the companions, "and yield obedience to my successor." This is important. Listen, family, listen. Listen to what this man, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, said about his successor in Islam to his companions about a time to come. He said, "I admonish you to fear God and yield obedience to my successor, although he may be a black slave, for this reason, that those amongst you who may live after me will see great schisms. Therefore, hold fast to my ways, and those of my successors, who may lead you in the straight path, having found it themselves, and ardently seize my laws, and be firm thereto." He's talking about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's right. And the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. See? So now I want to take you back to what he said to Bilal. "Oh Bilal, what special deeds have you done that I heard sounds of your walking steps ahead of me in paradise?" So the Prophet Muhammad said to Bilal that he witnessed or had an inspiration, or God showed him a vision of Bilal's footsteps walking ahead of him as the Prophet into paradise. Why? Because Allah renewed his Islam through the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You will find no man doing the work that the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is doing today. I'm going to prove it. That's who you are, black man and black woman. Stop selling yourself cheap. Come on. So, in the Holy Quran, Surah 25, and it's interesting because in this Surah 25, the Quran, when we have to fast during the holy month of Ramadan, we are obligated to read the Quran every day, and it has been broken down into parts for us. So there's 30 days of fasting, and we read a part a day. That means there are 30 parts of the Quran that is broken down into to even up how we have to read our Quran during the holy month of Ramadan. I'm just sharing with you all who may not know the lifestyle and the ways of a Muslim, a true believer. Surah 25 is regarded or titled Al-Farrakhan, the discrimination. Farrakhan. What chapter is it? 25? Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. What's 2 plus 7? 9. Pardon me, what's 2 plus 5? 7. Part 19, what's 1 plus 9? 10. What's 1 plus 0? 1. Okay. Allah is the what God? 1. Okay. 7 is the number of what? So Farrakhan, the discrimination. When you hear this man, we are in a time now where you're going to be forced. You are either going to accept what he has to tell you, or you're going to reject it. There is no middle line, family, with this. See? So that's why I'm telling you, be careful. Do not play with this. See? Allah right now is judging between us, deciding who his chief supreme helpers are going to be versus who the disbelievers and the mischief makers are going to be. Now we got to understand about this man Jesus. He said, think not that I come to make peace. Nay, I come with the sword. What sword is he talking about? The sword of truth. He gonna be slashing and cutting down. He chopping off heads of the disbelievers. The same way Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was doing. The same way the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is doing. The government and governments of the world that are bent on being agitators and agents for Satan absolutely fear this man because of what is in his mouth. He is the most feared and the most revered. They don't care about TD man. I'm just trying to tell y'all. I know Barack is the first black president. LeBron has been to the finals 8, 9, 7. Michael Jordan is the greatest we ever seen. Tiger Woods. Well, Tiger Woods, I don't know. They don't care about these men. They are afraid of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan because of what's in his mouth. And the power of what's in his mouth, that it has the power to do and what it is doing and has been doing.
That's right.
See?
Say that.
He's backed by listen, man. If you don't know, he's backed by a power, man, that will not be defeated. And just because we're a little impatient as a people, based on the condition that we have been placed in by an open enemy that prevents us from seeing him properly, make no mistake, family, we're in an hour now that if we don't start making a serious decision, a swift decision, and a steadfast decision, meaning a decision that has rooted in it firmness, that is anchored. Because you're going to go through something anyway. That's the price. That's the sacrifice of getting free. Freedom is not free, family. It's not. You got to give up something. You got to give up to go up. You ever seen a handyman getting up on a ladder and he got a tool belt on, he got a chest hoist on, he got a toolbox in his hand. He ain't gonna get up that ladder. Man, it's gonna be a task.
That's right.
See? So you gotta start giving up this stuff that means you no good and is not beneficial to you if you want to go up, if you want to elevate spiritually, mentally, morally, psychologically, socially, financially, economically. Man, those are a lot of things that you got to start working on, black men and women. You do not have time to be playing around here. You don't have the time. The time is what must be done. So that's who the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is. The Bible backs it up. The Holy Quran backs it up. And he's backed up by two men, again, that will not be defeated, cannot be defeated. There's nothing else, brothers and sisters, I'm just telling you. So I wanna close by giving you proof that nation building is actually going on. I talked about that in my last discourse. So these are the things that the Nation of Islam is involved in diligently, and that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has either helped spearhead or has established of his own accord. Our #1 program, the Final Call newspaper. This is the only black operated, black owned, about blacks, for blacks, by blacks, that tells the unadulterated, unslanted truth. See? And it's worldwide. It talks about what's going on in Africa. It talks about what's going on in Saudi Arabia. It talks about what's going on in Chicago. Hell, it talks about what's going on in downtown Denver. You know they legalize weed here, right? You know this is the state of mountains, right? You know wherever there's mountains, there's been high experimentation, right?
Come on, sir.
Yeah, y'all been experimenting. Y'all think it's science, or y'all think it's a coincidence that y'all were one of the first states that legalized weed, that they legalized weed in recreationally, huh?
Come on, sir.
Man, y'all better come on now. Take a look at some things. So the Final Call newspaper, this is the #1 program in the Nation of Islam. We also have Muhammad's University. That is a school where the young boys and young girls are being taught by Muslim teachers to grow up into a supreme knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Because again, who is the black man? Okay. The maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. So Muhammad's University is where this is being fostered. We also have Muhammad Farms, and it's running about 1,556 acres in Georgia, which is part of a 45-acre landmass that was purchased by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad back in the 1960s. From Muhammad Farms, we have Staple Goods. That is a program where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is selling beans, he's selling coffee, he's selling raw sugar, he's selling sea salt, he's selling all of, I mean basically it's a grocery store in bulk that we can order from, family, so we can get out of the devil's kitchen. Y'all know that the devil poisoning y'all, right? He's wastes biological and chemical warfare. Listen, when you go home today, I want you to turn on the TV for a few hours and watch these commercials. Watch these Wendy's commercials, Taco Bell commercials, Burger King commercials. Every sandwich they introduce has bacon on it. Why? You notice that? They trying to force feed the people with it. Because if it's not the weed, they gonna dumb you down with the pork. If it's not the pork, they gonna dumb you down with the pills and the mollies. See, a biological and chemical warfare has been waged on you, family. They know who you are. So Staple Goods, get out of there, get out, come out of Sam Walton's, man. Stop it, man, come out of there. Get with Brother Herb, get with Brother Alsar, get with Sister Tanya. We'll tell you how you can start ordering some of your goods and products, some of your groceries from the Staple Goods.
Thank you.
They also have the ABLE program.
Growing your own.
That's right. That's why we need land of our own. That's right, Mama, you tell them.
Hey.
So we need these things. We need these things. So they have the ABLE program where he's selling fish, where he's selling chicken, good fish, good chicken, the best quality fish and chicken, orange juice, coffee, whole wheat bread.
Yes, sir.
These are life-giving products, because also in the book he said, I came so that you may have life abundantly. How can you have life abundantly, family, if you're eating all this filth? If you're consuming all this filth? It cuts off your lifespan. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us the black man and black woman don't die until they express a desire to do so. How? By disobedience from the universal law. That's how your lifespan is shortened. He has Muhammad's economic blueprint. That was based from the 3-year economic plan established by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He also has Salam restaurants. He also has the Blue Seas. He also has 10,000 fearless men and women. Why? Because in the streets the police is shooting us down. And they don't care if you Christian.
That's right.
They don't care if you Baptist.
That's right.
They don't care if you Crip. They don't care if you GD. They don't care. If you black, you going down. So We have 10,000 fearless men and women so we can deal with conflict resolution in our own community. Start policing ourselves, family. So this is the process of the building of a nation.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to close by giving you just a brief testimony of what happened to me. I was raised in a single parent home, basically. My mom raised me. I was abused as a child by my sister's dad, by my sister's father, physically, psychologically, emotionally, the whole nine. It made me angry. You know, I always heard bad things about my father, so I tried to do everything I could to not be like him since I didn't know him. Eventually, growing up angry, you know, although it made me want to be and do the best I could in school, I thrived. You know, I was on the honor roll. I played sports. Again, my mother, I thank her for giving me the gift of fashion. She used to sew all of our clothes, give my mom a hand. She used to sew all of our clothes by hand. A lot of you don't even know this. In the 70s, she was employed by the MGT to sew their dresses. I did not know yet. Give my mother a hand. So the foundation was already being laid. See? So, again, growing up, you know, in an impoverished home and my mom doing the best she could for us, she was my champion. So even though this is Father's Day, because my mother was kind of my mother and my father, you know, I applaud her, I thank her, because I wouldn't be standing here without her. And I will never oversight that. Honor thy mother and thy father that thy days may be long.
Yes, sir.
But I grew up angry. And even though I was very intelligent and I was very motivated to do well in school, there was a void missing. And as a result of that void, I fought a lot. Teachers would call my mom's home and be like, he's very smart, but he's always in trouble, you know? And so eventually, I graduated, I enrolled in college, I dropped out of college, 3 different colleges, 3 different times. And I got enamored in the street life. You know, just having a hustler spirit, you know, the first time I was introduced to selling dope and I could do it this quickly and this fast, I was enamored by it. The fast women, the fast cars, it took me. And so at the same time, I began to hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I had 1 foot in the grave and I had 1 foot in the mosque. You know, brothers would see me out there, they remember that I came to the mosque and they would see me, my eyes bloodshot red, I got pistols on me, now like, brother, we ain't seen you. You want a final call? You know, this is my testimony, family. So ultimately, you know, I wrecked. I hit the wall, head first, crashed, you know, and I invited some people out who could testify that I started experiencing mental disorders, schizophrenia I was diagnosed with, manic depressive, acute psychosis. I spent 36 hours one time strapped to a bed in a straitjacket while they shot medication into me because I was banging my head on the walls and I was doing all kinds of stuff. As a result of playing with these teachings, Allah caused me to kind of go spiral into a condition of insanity. And then I landed myself in a 2-year stint at a 23-hour lockdown facility. And at that moment, I decided, based on hearing the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad only 4 years ago, and getting a subscription to the Final Call newspaper and having only a Quran and my prayer rug in my cell, I decided at that moment that I was going to commit to this, lock into it, grab hold to it, and never let go no matter what I would experience. So that is my fuel, family. That's my motivation. I've seen people stabbed. I've seen people beat in the head with 10-pound weight plates. I've had to be stripped bare in my nude and have women and men touch me and fondle me, going to and fro. I've had to share cells. I had to share cells with men that man had such an egregious odor and was in such a condition. Were it not for me having the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and only 1 DVD of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan while in prison, I would not have the temperament. I would not have had the patience to deal with not only the condition of the sickness and the filth around me, but my own individual internal filth and sickness. So it is for that reason, family, it is for that reason that I follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and will not back down, will not back out. I intend to die on my post.
Go ahead.
See?
Do it.
So with that, that is my testimony. I pray that if anything that you heard was in error, that Allah have mercy and compassion on me. Anything that you heard that was good, anything that you heard that was truthful is from Allah. I take no credit for it, family. Again, I would like to thank the whole study group of 51. I leave you as I came, and I just urge you, family, grab hold of these teachings, give yourself some time, pace yourself, study. Study this book. Pick it up. Study this book. Please. It will change your life if you commit. Okay, family? I leave you as I came in the universal greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum.